Hello, welcome to the table. My name's Jonathan Hicks.
I'm Steve Raine.
And I'm Windle.
And today we're joined by special guest Rob from JTRPodcast.com.
Hello.
And we're doing our review, if you like, of the UK Games Expo 2017. We were there last weekend, had a great time. What did you guys think? What were your highlights from the weekend?
Tiredness. It was great. It was we were super busy, as you'll see on the other videos, going around and alternating doing videos and stuff. And I was carrying a camera all weekend, which was lovely and fun. But no, it just went so quick. You thought, oh, I've got 16 or so hours to do stuff. Nah, nothing like that. You suddenly realise half the day's gone. You've done 2 videos. You're thinking, where's it all going? I need some food.
Yeah, it's the first time I went for more than 2 days. I quite enjoyed the fact that you had the 2 days there. Anything you missed the first day, you made it. You went back and reflected, and you went, oh, definitely need to do that tomorrow, and you kind of set aside time for it. We also got to go to a dice tower.
The Wits and Wages. Yeah. That was fun.
It was just wits, really, but yeah.
It was funny.
Fun. Yeah, I got to go up on stage on there as well. That was good. But yeah, going for the 2 days was really good. I also like the fact that the hall, as it was extended last year, didn't use all the hall. And this year they did. And it just felt more spacious.
Yeah, I mean, they had the gap behind the bringing by, didn't they, last year, and that's the whole thing. Plus, they had all the tournaments in the other room that I never visited the tournament room. I don't know about you guys, and then they had still the stuff going on at the Hilton. I didn't walk around that either.
Yeah. It felt more spread out in a way, because there's this thing happening in that building and this other building, and we spent most of our time, I guess, in the trade hall and around that area.
Yeah, and it's quite nice, but I think as it gets bigger, and we'll probably go through the figures at some point during this video, but as it gets bigger, they're maybe going to have to bring it into a bit more, because I think they're going to need to open up another hall in the next few years.
I think though, even on the Saturday, there was still plenty of room. But I think I am going to take a satchel next time, not a backpack, because I'm tired of apologising to people hitting with it as I'm walking past. But yeah,
it was better for moving around, a lot better this year.
Yeah. They worked out the walkways. I think there wasn't as many choke points, except when they had that auction that kind of in one corner that killed everything. But yeah, they've obviously worked out and got a planner to go, this is a better way of walking.
It's got better each year. I've been 3 years in a row.
It's very professional though, isn't it? They know what they're doing now.
That's good.
And in terms of the selection of games that were available this year, how did you feel like, because obviously some games get released at the Expo, how did you feel like you compared with previous years?
About comparative, there were a few bits released. I mean, I guess the Expo's not known as a huge release venue for games, other than quite a lot of UK stuff kind of goes in there. But it was all right. We still displayed new stuff, and that's a good thing. And big new stuff as well.
I felt it was more opportunities to play stuff this year. It felt like there was more places to sit down outside just the open gaming sections.
Yeah, definitely.
Each stall had like more, just a bit.
The extended space when they could put a table in, so you could sit down there. It wasn't just a sale. I mean, even like, was it Board Game Extras had a table because they were doing Between Two Cities, and they were a shop, but they were still doing the demoing for them there. So there's definitely more space.
there's still a lot of games now where you can play it and you think, oh cool, how much is it? And they say, well, it's going to be on Kickstarter in December, you can get it in 2019.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, it's a little annoying, but it's the world we live in now.
Yeah.
There are a few Kickstarters, or games that were going to be coming on Kickstarter. That really caught my eye actually, but we'll talk about those in a little bit.
Yeah. I suppose we should say before we go, they have released the numbers. What was it? Just over 31,000 uniques and just over 16,000 individual people who went to the event. So that was increased like 30-40%. They were saying on both,
right.
Which is still a massive increase. You think on the scale.
Third biggest in the world now, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, what we've got Origins happening right now.
Yeah, there's one in France that has a lot more. But,
it's very English speaking, isn't it? Because I know they have Japan has a massive one and Poland has a big one too, apparently.
Okay. Yeah.
But in the English speaking world, and for board games only, I know that's what they say.
Yeah. Okay. One of my highlights was down by the lake. They had a whole set of Vikings who were great. They'd set up all these little tents and they had campfires and little sort of workstations. I'm not quite sure what they were doing, but with piles of weapons. And I asked them, you'll probably see in our intro video on our channel, I asked them if they could do a kind of rah for me, and they were just great. They were really up for it, and really enjoyed chatting with them. And the cosplay generally, all round, like wherever you wander, almost you turn around at every corner. There's some other group in cosplay. I really enjoyed seeing that. They were great. A lot of effort, obviously, had been put into that. And
they gave awards out for each other, like a competition, didn't they, where the cosplayers got up, and I think I saw it happen on the Friday and the Saturday.
Okay, right.
Yeah, where they had so if you come in one day, not the other. Yeah. So that was nice for them to have a go at.
It's nice that they moved like the main conference stuff into the separate room, because we did the dice tower last year and we could barely hear it because the noise from the general little background. Now it's been moved into that central conference room. It was nice that then they had the main stage bit off to that corner where people could still listen and hear. It's the right sort of thing to have there. It's more of a display sort of thing. Plus it was right next to the bring goodbye, so people in the queue still got something to watch at, which is better than just standing there.
Okay.
So well thought out again.
Yeah. And there was lots of space when they did the Wits and Wages thing. I was surprised how much space, because we were queuing up outside and you could see people like, are we going to get in, is there going to be enough room? But there was tons of space inside, which was great, and everyone got a seat, so it was really good.
And we may have queue jumped.
Yeah, apologies to those people behind us who were complaining. Oops.
Alright, so in terms of the actual games then, of the games that are available to buy now that we saw at the Expo, what was your favourite game then? If we go down the line, Steve, do you want to start?
I had a choice of two. I'm going to pick one that's probably less well known, and that is a game called Wordsy. It was out for release. Sadly, they got the copies for sale after we visited the store, so I forgot to go back and get one. I would have got one for the cafe. But it is a little word game, and you've got some letters, and the letters are worth 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and there's 8 letters, and you're trying to pick the longest word you can. And for every letter of the letters in the display you use, you get the equivalent number of points, which is quite nice. Effectively, you didn't get crossed off if you got the same word as someone else, which you sometimes do in like categories or something like that.
Yep.
And it was just trying to get the longest word you can. But it had a really nice mechanism that if the first person to get a word took the timer and give everyone else 30 seconds, which is fine. But if anyone after that person got a higher scoring word than the person who flipped the timer, they got bonus points. But if the person who flipped the timer got the highest score, they would get bonus points as well. So it's no point just kind of getting the quickest word you can and getting it. You're going to give everyone else bonus points that way. So it put the time pressure on, but didn't like make it advantageous to get the first word.
Yeah.
So that was a good game. It was every time we walked past, there was always someone playing it. So that was my game of the...
I like it had the beating the previous winner. Was it previous winner or previous time person as well was a factor? I can't remember, it's part of the scoring, like beating somebody who'd done previously quite good.
It all relied on the person who finished first.
Yeah.
So if I finished first and scored 20 points on my word, and you got 22 points, you would also get, not just a 22, you would get a bonus point.
Yeah, that was it. I quite like that as a little
And of the 7 words you got, your best 5 score. So if you have a bad round,
nice.
that was quite nice as well. Yeah.
So it mitigates. You know, sometimes you've got a series of letters, you're like, I just can't think of anything.
Yeah.
And it deals with that.
That when I put stuff.
Still scored you like 15 points, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, that was good, and that was a nice game, and that was a game that I think I was just surprised that sort of game, caught my attention, I guess.
My favourite was definitely Century Spice Road. We've got it in the cafe and I've played it several times since. It feels very much like Splendor, so it's very quick. Essentially you're playing cards to acquire cubes, which are supposed to be spices, and you can sort of upgrade them into better spices, and then you spend the spices to acquire victory point cards. So it's very simple. And we were astonished at just how quickly it played, weren't we? We timed it because we were recording, and 4 new players, none of whom had played the game before, including rules explanation, we took 18 minutes to play the game. We just blasted through it. I'm like, this is great.
It might take you 30 minutes.
But then I was chatting with another group who played this a couple of days ago here at the Dice Cup, and they took an hour and a half to play the same game. So we had a bit of a range there. Although I think usually it would definitely be more like
half an hour
probably on average.
If you've played it before, half an hour is probably the ideal. But we went so fast. That was my other pick. That was such a good game. I really explained the rules or something, and I need to go and buy this. So before we actually played, I ran away and bought it.
Yeah.
Because it went out so fast. I think it sold out both days it was there.
You didn't find a play map.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I can get one, but they're just I want to play that. Yeah, that was my other pick. It was a very good choice.
Rob?
Alright, so mine's one that I haven't played yet.
Oh.
Because last year I think we can all agree Ice Core was probably the biggest hit, or the surprise hit.
It was
definitely that was a standout
from
definitely.
Brain Games. Yeah. And this year I got a game, Frog King. I think it's King Frog.
Okay.
And it just looks silly. It looks like a kid's game, like Ice Core does. But the way it works is you've each got a frog of one colour, and you've got a bunch of lily pads in a circle of those colours. And you've got cards numbered 1 to 5. You'll pick a card simultaneously, reveal it, and your frog will move that many spaces, starting from the people who played 1, then the 2s, then the 3s move. If you land on a lily pad of your colour, you get the card back. If you don't, you lose the card. So you're trying to stay in the game, because if you run out of cards, you're out. But at the same time, the frog at the front has a crown, and if they overtake the frog at the back, they instantly win. So you can't go too slow because you've got to keep the momentum going. So that's, if it's as good as I think it is when I was reading the rule book, it's going to be a great game. But hopefully it is.
Okay.
It just sounds really, really cool.
It is intriguing.
You've intrigued me then. Yeah. Have you got it?
I didn't bring it in.
No.
I've got it, but I didn't bring it in.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, good.
Mark?
Mine probably would have been Sentry, so I'm going to pick something else. I will go with probably Yokohama, because it was essentially released there for...
Yes.
If any of you played Istanbul, it's essentially... There's a load of different places on the board, and you're putting down your systems, then you can move your president around, as long as there's through an assistance, you can't move over gaps. Where your president faces up, you can take an action there. There's stuff about power, so you get better. The more stuff you got on a location, the more stuff you get. And that's it. It's very Yori, pretty heavy, lots of stuff going on, lots and lots and lots of interconnecting mechanisms that you can't really get an idea what's all going on. But yeah, it's the game I went there to buy. So, well, I would have bought it anyway, but it's the game that I knew that I wanted to walk away with, and I'm happy I did.
It's really good.
That's probably one of the best Euro games I've played this year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
that
yeah.
good. It's not an Expo game for me because although you bought it at the Expo, I knew nothing about it until we played it on Thursday.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very good. But as you can see, I think the three of us would have picked Century Spice Road. That was my other pick. It's such a good game. It's the speed of play which wins it for me, I think.
I think, as I said in the video, I wasn't a massive fan of Splendor, and there's just enough more there, a bit more teeth, get the teeth into that I enjoy it a lot, that I can enjoy it. While Splendor, I just find a little bit. I know most people love it, a Splendor, but I'm not.
It's
in
like
that
a
camp.
downtime.
Yeah.
I think in Century Spice Road, it's just
Yeah, that helps. I have heard people say, though, some people prefer Splendor and some people prefer Century Spice Road, so they do seem to be very close. It just
Splendor's
depends on-
probably a more strategic game. I think
Yeah,
in
possibly.
Century Spice Road you set your engine up, and once you get to a point where you've got enough cards in hand, buying getting new cards is just a waste of time.
That's right,
So
you just
if
run
you
your
set
engine.
it, and if you've got a better engine or the cards that come out that suit your engine better, you're going to do better. So I think there's more.
There's two parts to the game. There's your
Yeah.
engine building bit at the start, and then there's the use of it. While Splendor, you're constantly having to turn it over because you need to grab more cards.
I think there's more luck. There's more luck in Century Spice Road.
Well, yeah,
if you get
what comes
yeah,
out.
yeah, it's what
Yeah,
comes out.
yeah, I could see that. Okay. Right, then the other games we were going to talk about are games that haven't been released yet. We saw quite a lot of previews of different games at the Expo. So what was your favourites, like the one you're most looking forward to or the one you're most excited about in terms of games that haven't been released yet?
We got a demo of Unlock, and saw the new Unlock out. But I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say a different game. It's called Scrumpy, and it's a deck builder where you're making cider, and each turn you can put you draw your hand, and you can put some workers out in the middle. But if you ever don't want to use those workers, you can always go and do it yourself, less efficiently, but you save those workers for a later day or whatever. But the nice thing about it, the reason it's different from other deck builders, I just want to try it because it looked interesting, is that when you make the cider or you make the things, you have to use cards from your hands or your discard pile to do it. So I'm going to use these two cards from my discard pile to make I picked two apples, and I'm going to take these two cards from my discard pile to be my two apples, and you put them on the thing face down, the apple side showing. So I've got two apples. But those cards are now out of my deck, and I might not exactly know what they are.
Right.
So it's just nice, it looks nice, he's kickstarting it soon, I think. Yeah,
Right,
so
and it's mid-late this year. Isn't
it's
it?
going Kickstarter. I think he got a fair bit of buzz from people
Yeah.
going round. I've
He's busy.
seen it on the board game group as well on Facebook. He's publicising it quite well, and that just kind of is a deck build. It's not my sort of thing, but it did surprise me.
All right. My standout game was definitely Perfect Crime. This is essentially it's a dungeon crawl game, but the theme of the game is you're robbing a bank. So there's like two. In fact, you guys have played it a bit more than me, haven't you?
Yeah.
But there's two halves for the game. One where you're setting up, planning the robbery, if you like, and then the actual heist itself. And it was the heist bit that we played, and it stood out for me because it was just so thematic. You're running around the bank to all the different rooms and the doors, and the guards are patrolling in certain areas, so you're trying to avoid them. The security cameras, you've got the tech guy who can disable the security cameras sometimes, but maybe you just need to go with a bit of spray paint, and you sort of select equipment and and extra people for your crew at the start of the game, and then you run through and try and rob the bank. And it was hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
Because we managed to get the loot, didn't we? We figured out which was the right vault, we got the loot, but then we triggered the alarm, and then the police showed up at the end. I snuck out the back door, and then they had like a firefight with the police by the main entrance.
There was a bit where we just went, okay, how are we going to do this? Because we're working out, they're going around a path, and we think, and we just went, should we just shoot them?
Yeah.
And it all went wrong. That's the way
absolutely.
onwards, exactly as it would do.
Forget this sneaking around business. And it was hilarious. Just really enjoyed that one. So I'm really looking forward to that coming out later.
I must have been elsewhere when you did this.
Yeah, it was me and Mark that played it.
Yeah. Because we have got to play the bit beforehand, and if any of you guys know Stronghold, where the more time you spend to make yourself better, the more time the bank has got to make itself better, so you're balancing that. It's got a lovely other half to it, and it works really well. It's quite quick, because essentially I'm going to get some more money so I can buy some stuff, and then the bank goes, well, I'm going to buy that. So it's not long, but it adds another depth to the gameplay that helps. It makes it even more unique than it already was.
Yeah.
And when's this out?
I can't remember. It kickstarted later this year, it said.
Again.
Rob.
So I got to stop by Playtest UK, who do demos and prototypes. So I played the Maiden Voyage, which was a game I saw in a very early prototype at a networking event down in London. And what it is basically you've got tiles of a ship, and you each control robots trying to fix the ship and keep it going. There's event cards that are going to cause things to explode. You've got crew that you're moving around trying to get them into stasis in order to send them off to this other planet. But you're constantly firefighting events that are coming in. You've got saboteurs that appear. Some of the crew turn into saboteurs and they start dealing damage. You've got two areas of the ship because it's like a clock face. So you're like 12 and 6. If they ever get full of damage, then the whole ship will explode. And you're controlling these because you're controlling a robot, they can malfunction, which means that your actions that you're taking might not necessarily be what you want them to be. Okay. So it's a lot of fun. There's lots of firefighting. It's a very good kind of co-op game with a bit of dice rolling. You're also trying to fly the ship around asteroids and stuff as well. It's really good fun. I can't wait for that to come out.
Did you get to play it? Did you?
Yes. Very good.
I think my favourite I didn't get to play, but it released at Essen, and that's Alien Artifact, which is the 4X card game by Portal, so it's going to be big and popular anyway. But yeah, you're essentially collecting planets, but I like the fact that it has tried to do the 4X style of you get options to do all of those 4 X's essentially, so explore, exterminate, expand, and the other one, exploit. Yeah, you're doing that sort of thing. To be honest, I was doing the video for the time, so I was half listening, half worrying about it. But yeah, it sounded cool. It's very down my street. Meant to play ready like in 2 hours, so suits me for trying to get that 4X feeling in a shorter time space. And the quality of everything looked great, and yeah, definitely a pick for me.
It did look good.
All right, great. Well, we're definitely looking forward to the UK Games Expo 2018 next year, and we'll definitely be there in force.
I have to do 3 days, or
yeah.
I think we do need to.
A day off in the middle, maybe.
If we can book the hotels early enough this time, because it does. All the hotels around do fill up quite quickly.
Well, they're already talking about it now. It's in the rates. People are already booking the hotels, so
right.
Yeah.
We need to get on that.
Yay.
All right, thanks very much for watching, and thank you, Rob, for joining us.
Thank you.
My name's Jonathan Hicks.
I'm Steve Raine.
I'm Windle.
Do comment at the bottom in terms of what your highlights were from the expo. You've been watching The Table here at the Dice Cup. Thanks. Bye.